These are the 5 Chelsea players you cannot take your eyes off this pre-season. A new manager, a new system, and 5 careers that could explode or unravel. From a Brazilian wonder kid to a star reborn under Xabi Alonso, stick around because number 1 might just be the future under Xabi Alonso. The first player to watch, the first big signing, welcome to Chelsea, Marco Palestra. Palestra is probably the unicorn dream signing that Xabi Alonso has always dreamt to work with. A left-footed and right-footed dual-way threat packaged in a 6'2" frame. He's powerful, he's got rangy strides, he can defend aggressively, he's got an engine for days, and he's not afraid to be positive on the ball. Big money was spent to capture him. We wasted no time in penny pinching and delaying this move. We acted quickly, we acted aggressively, and we moved so fast that we completely shattered the dreams of Inter Milan and depressed their entire fanbase. It's not often that we see our board move this silently and move this aggressively for a player in the market, and most times when they do, this is a serious player with big, long-term plans at this football club. Now, what makes Palestra one of the players to watch this pre-season? Well, the use of Palestra could single-handedly educate us behind how Xabi Alonso is preparing us tactically for next season. We still have question marks in regards to whether we're going to set up in a wing-back system in a back 3, or whether we may set up with a 4-3-3 and a holding 6, or there's a possibility that Xabi Alonso wants to turn towards 2 to 3 different formations depending on the opposition we're playing against. If Palestra plays as a wingback, it tells us this could be the main formation, or we could be seeing early signs behind the big game setup for those games against Arsenal and Cole. If we see Palestra playing as a right back, it could mean that 4-3-3 will be the main system we use, because Alonso probably needs to find ideas against teams that sit back and park the bus. Until we improve against this type of tactic, we ain't going nowhere. Either way, Palestra is ready-made and tailor-suited to whatever demands Alonso has for this team this season. It took Palestra 2 conversations with Xabi Alonso to realize Chelsea was the right step in his career. And clearly, big plans are in store for us this season, and whether he's playing as a right back, a wing back, on the right side or even the left hand side, best believe Palestra will play a massive part in next season's success. You can't miss out on this player. Giovanni Kenda is ready to impress Xabi Alonso. He was the big money signing that surprised all of us back when we signed him from Sporting Lisbon, and at the time the club made a big statement. It was only Estevao and Kenda behind Lamine Yamal for the best 3 talents on this planet. Kenda is focused, Kenda is locked in, Kenda is ready to impress Xabi Alonso. He's cutting short his summer holidays to prepare for pre-season, and he wants to make up for lost time last season where he suffered a metatarsal grade 5 injury which really disrupted his momentum last season. He showed some promising signs in the Champions League, he showed promising signs domestically for Sporting Lisbon until that ill-fated injury put a pause on everything. During that time, he spent time at Chelsea, rehabilitating, being on a strict diet regime to increase his muscle mass, and of course get ready for life in London. Chelsea have done everything in their power to ensure that Kenda has the most seamless transition to making the step up to our first team next season, and they're hoping that Kenda is ready to explode under Xabi Alonso. Kenda, he excites me, man. This is a guy that wants to take his man on, but for his age, as a 19-year-old, he's not just a head down and run at your man type of player. This is someone that can take on his man, but also plays that pass. That's a rare set of skill set to show for someone this young, but how Xabi Alonso will use Kenda makes him someone that you have to focus on this pre-season. During his time at Sporting Lisbon, when it was all believed that he might be going to work under Amorim at Man United, he declined that move because he did not feel that wing-back was better suited to his long-term career and goals. Now, there's much conversation that Xabi Alonso may decide to use a wing-back setup, and even though Alonso's wing-back setup is a little bit different because it gives more power for a wing-back to attack and push forward, could this be a short-term role for Kenda to adapt to Alonso's ideas, or are we making a mistake using a player further away from goal? Because Kenda displays some high-level ability when it comes to making those runs inside the box, taking shots inside the box, playing the passes to release his teammates outside the box, and his elite progressive 1v1 play. There's going to be big question marks on how Alonso gets the best out of a talent like this, as this could really impact Kenda's long-term Chelsea career. with reports suggesting that we are still in the market to sign this fabled 10/Y player. Even though we have Kenda, we have Gittins, we have Esteval, we have Neto and Garnacho, Kenda will have to make sure his quality is undeniable this preseason to make sure that Chelsea put him as their number one. The next player on this list is the biggest what if in this entire squad, and that's Romeo Lavia. Not because we don't know how good he is, but because we've barely been allowed to find out for ourselves. He's made 30 appearances in over 3 years. He's not completed 190 minutes of football. He's a 58 million midfield player that we've barely seen, and it's understandable that many in the fan base are losing hope, losing patience, and losing faith in Romeo Lavia. And yet, everyone in Cobham rates this guy highly. Cole Palmer's giving him massive praise, suggesting that this is a world-class talent that he knows very well. This is someone who trains behind the scenes like he's a starter. And here's the thing that I think most of us in the fan base are missing. And here's the thing that most people in the fan base miss, including myself, and that's that Chelsea don't have a Lavia problem. Chelsea have a Lavia-shaped hole. Caicedo and Enzo have carried our midfield now for the last 2-3 years, but naturally a lot of these guys want to get forwards. Neither is that natural anchor, and neither is really that complementary figure for each other. When we first signed Romeo Lavia, I think the plan was always to have Lavia acting as that glue to make Enzo and Caicedo work at the highest level. On paper, Lavia has a serious skill set. He's press resistant, he receives under pressure, he can turn out a dribble, he can help you play that pass forward, and he could play the crucial part of acting as that glue to allow Enzo and Caicedo to be unlocked. And if Alonso builds on this 4-3-3 with that holding six in that team, or maybe one anchor behind two runners, I feel like this could be tailor-made for Romeo Lavia to shine. So here's the real stakes at hand for Lavia this preseason. We're in the market for a midfield player right now. There's been lots of news around Wharton and other big midfield stars. And if you're Lavia, you're taking these links personally because these are players that are ready to take your position out the team, a position that you've barely been able to find time for yourself due to all these injuries. For Lavia, this is the crucial time for himself. He returned back at the end of the season, and he now finds himself in the perfect reset moment before a new season starts. He can focus on match conditioning, he can focus on finding his form, he can mentally refresh himself, and he has an incredible opportunity to really make Xabi Alonso take his skill set seriously. This is the most important preseason and moment in Romeo Lavia's young career. Last season was one of frustration for this player. The next player you have to watch is Cole Palmer. Palmer had a brutal reality check last season, and it reminds you of how fickle this game can be at any time, right? A groin injury that persisted longer than it should have dramatically impacted his season, impacted his rhythm, and stopped him playing his best football due to that resulting loss in form that led to England's chosen one not being chosen for the World Cup squad. You'd imagine that this time is the perfect moment of reflection for Cole Palmer to really think about his career right now, but if there was one player who has the mental fortitude, who has the down-to-earth nature to kind of just get over something like this, Cole Palmer is prepared for this. He'll see this as another moment of just rolling with the punches that life can throw at you. Turn disappointment into opportunity. And under Xabi Alonso, Palmer has an incredible opportunity to put himself in the best possible form to get ready for next season. And this is why this could be the biggest blessing in Palmer's young career, because for the first time in nearly 3 years, he has a real moment to rest, to unwind, to reclaim himself. And this is very important because Xabi Alonso might just have a different use for Cole Palmer. If you saw how Arda Güler became part of a midfield three at Real Madrid, many have the feeling that Cole Palmer could also make that transformation under Xabi Alonso. And could this transformation be the key step to help Palmer find his best possible form? As he had the responsibilities playing as our number 10 these last 2 years, we did notice maybe a slight form drop-off due to the nature of the role at hand. A lot of times he's receiving back to goal. And the more times you receive back to goal, the more times it increases your chances of getting kicked from behind, getting pushed, getting hurt. With the 10 role being known for the freedom it gives a player, it felt like at times Palmer was very restricted being our number 10. But if he was transformed playing as an 8 in a midfield 3, the entire game opens up for Cole Palmer, and Palmer is a lot more dangerous facing the goal compared to having his back against the goal. In a new role like this, he can drift wide. He has space, the pockets open up, he can run the channels, he can take his man on, he can split a defense open, he can switch the play, and most importantly, he can showcase his customary ghosting inside the box to help at the team's cause with goals. This preseason is looking very decisive for Cole Palmer. And the last player on this list is someone that isn't even here yet, as he's still part of his World Cup squad, and that player is Mike Penders. Chelsea have decided to accelerate his development into our first team, as it was decided not to allow him to have another loan out next season. And that's for good reason, because Chelsea believe they have one of the unicorns, one of the players of this generation in Mike Penders in goal. Now, last preseason, Penders really impressed Enzo Maresca to the point that Chelsea strongly considered keeping him to be the number 2 in the understudy under Robert Sanchez. That never materialized because Jorgensen couldn't find a move at the time, and it was believed that if he played first team football in a new tactical role, this would aid his development long term. But what really impressed Maresca the most was how quickly his level of understanding and education accelerated. And I think Penders did himself justice last season, as he played one of the most difficult roles for any goalkeeper, playing as the offensive sweeper keeper. And he showed great promise. He wasn't perfect, he's still young, but this level of understanding this young makes him a very exciting player for this club's future. He showcased and demonstrated a big willingness to show personality on the ball. He was required to step out from his goal 10, 15, 20, even 30 yards at times to be involved in the build-up phase, where he had to pass with either foot. And in a position like this, you can't get your passes wrong, and you can't show a lack of composure. It's a very brave role to play for someone this inexperienced and this young. And the exciting thing is, if Mike Penders masters this role, you're looking at this generation's Manuel Neuer. It's an incredible, exciting level of potential to display this young, and you'd imagine that Xabi Alonso will have a careful, watchful eye on how he can integrate Penders into the first team. But for that to happen, you don't get freebies at Chelsea Football Club. You have to take the moments and opportunities that come your way. And this is why Mike Penders' form in preseason will heavily determine how quickly he becomes our potential number 1. And don't rule out this kid from being ready for this type of challenge. So they're the 5 key players I think you guys have to pay attention towards this summer. But for my 2 quick honorable mentions, one is going to be Josh Achimpong. Now, Achimpong has the title of being seen as one of the untouchables in this squad, with both the club and Alonso agreeing that Achimpong is the future and must remain. For someone that's barely got minutes consistently the last 2 years, this level of confidence isn't for nothing. A successful preseason can only reinforce the belief and confidence that many people at this club have over Josh Achimpong. And the last mention is Jamie Gins. Now, his reputation declined last season, even though his season was heavily disrupted by an injury, but he showcased some great promise at times, and maybe more consistent promise than Alejandro Garnacho. Gittins is back from his injury, and he's already showing dedication that he is ready to take advantage of this preseason to impress Xabi Alonso. He's working on his core strength, his upper body strength, his stamina, and with all the constant links we have to signing new attacking players, Gittins has to take this preseason seriously to remind the entire club why they were right to back him for all that money last summer. So that's the top 5 players to watch, you guys. Let me know who you're excited by the most this preseason. Do you think there's a player that deserves more attention that I didn't talk about? Let me know in the comment section right now, boys. And of course, show some love to my big project, BlueLionsFC.com, my brand new website. Send me your preseason lineups on Twitter right now. See you guys again. Love. Cool.